Under harsh auction lights, a small German shepherd limped heavily, shivering under the gaze of indifferent bidders. Silence stretched thick as no one raised a paddle. Whispers of doubt filled the air. Hope faded fast until one quiet stranger decided to change everything today. This is his story of rescue. Before we go deeper into this incredible moment, if you feel moved by stories of compassion and second chances, please hit that like button. It truly helps more people see these tales. Share this with someone who needs a little hope today. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a story like this. I'd also love to know, where in the world are you watching from? Drop your country in the comments below. It fills my heart to see how far kindness can travel. The auction hall buzzed with a cold energy, voices sharp and calculating as buyers sized up each animal like livestock. Dust hung in the air, catching the glare of overhead fluorescence that offered no warmth, only exposure. In the center of it all stood a young German shepherd, ribs faintly visible beneath matted fur, one hind leg dragging slightly with every uneasy shift of his weight. His eyes, wide and glassy, darted across the sea of faces, searching, not for judgment, but for mercy. He trembled, not just from pain, but from the crushing weight of abandonment. Around him, dogs barked, handlers shouted, and coins clinked, but he remained still, curled inward, as if trying to disappear. The floor was hard, the noise overwhelming, and every passing glance felt like another nail in a coffin of neglect. No one knelt, no one reached out. He was just another broken thing in a room full of transactions. The air smelled of hay and anxiety, a pungent reminder that here life was measured in dollars and cents. Other animals were sold quickly, paddles rising like birds taking flight, but he remained alone on the platform, a solitary figure of suffering amidst the commerce. The lights hummed overhead, buzzing like insects, intensifying the heat that made his breathing shallow and rapid. He wanted to run, but there was nowhere to go, trapped between the metal bars and the unfeeling crowd that viewed his pain as a financial liability rather than a life worth saving. Then came the call. "Going once for this German shepherd!" The auctioneer's voice echoed, hollow and routine, but the room didn't respond. Not a single hand rose. A murmur rippled through the crowd. "Too much vet work," someone muttered. "He'll never be reliable," said another. "Look at that limp, he's damaged goods." The dog lowered his head, ears pinned back, as if he understood every word. A soft whimper escaped him, barely audible over the shuffling feet and rustling coats. Time seemed to slow. The auctioneer sighed, glancing at his clipboard, already moving on in his mind. Hope flickered like a dying candle. The dog's tail, tucked tight against his belly, didn't move. He had learned long ago not to expect kindness, and in that heavy silence, it felt like the world had already turned its back on him for good. The tension was palpable, a thick fog of indifference settling over the platform where the lonely animal stood waiting for a fate that seemed already sealed by the cruelty of silence. The auctioneer tapped his gavel, impatient now, ready to dismiss the animal to the back where outcomes were rarely kind. The seconds ticked by, each one feeling like an hour, marking the countdown to a future without love. The crowd shifted uncomfortably, not out of guilt, but out of inconvenience, unwilling to hold up the proceedings for a creature they deemed unworthy of investment. But in the far corner, near the shadowed doorway, a man watched. He hadn't come to buy. He'd only stopped in out of curiosity, maybe fate. Yet something in the dog's eyes, a quiet plea beneath the fear, pierced through him. He saw not a liability, but a soul waiting for someone to believe in him. His chest tightened. Others weighed cost and convenience. He felt only compassion. Slowly, almost reverently, he lifted his hand. It wasn't dramatic, just steady, certain. The room froze. Conversations halted mid-sentence. Every eye swiveled toward the back, searching for the source of this unexpected defiance. Whispers turned to stunned silence. Who was this man? Why would he risk it? The auctioneer blinked, then straightened. Do I hear a bid? The stranger nodded once, hand still raised. In that single gesture, a life was reclaimed. The dog, sensing the shift, lifted his muzzle slightly, ears twitching forward, as if hearing a language only hearts understand. The crowd's judgment melted into awe as the stranger's resolve became the only thing that mattered in that vast, cold hall. He did not speak, he did not boast, he simply acted, proving that courage is not always loud, but often found in the quiet willingness to stand alone for what is right. The pressure in the room shifted from cold indifference to warm anticipation, all because one person decided that value is not determined by utility, but by the capacity to love. Moments later, the gavel fell with a soft, final crack. The stranger stepped forward, calm and unhurried. Kneeling just outside the pen, he extended an open palm, letting the dog decide. With cautious steps, the shepherd approached, sniffed, then leaned ever so slightly into the stranger's touch. A faint wag barely there, but real, flickered at the base of his tail. No words were needed. Together, they walked out of the auction hall, leaving behind the noise, the judgment, the indifference. Outside, evening air wrapped around them like a promise. The man carried the dog gently, feeling the fragile weight of trust settling between them. Back home, he laid out soft blankets, filled a bowl with fresh water, and sat quietly nearby, giving space, offering presence. That night, for the first time in too long, the dog slept without flinching. The journey from the cold platform to the warm rug was short in distance, but infinite in meaning for the trembling animal who finally knew safety. He ate slowly, savoring the food, watching the man who had saved him with eyes that no longer looked away in fear. The house was quiet, a stark contrast to the chaos of the auction, and in that silence, healing began to take root deep within the dog's weary bones. Weeks passed. The limp faded with care, walks, and patience. His coat grew glossy, his eyes bright with confidence. Mornings began with eager nudges and tail wags. Evenings ended with the dog resting his head on his rescuer's lap, breathing slow and steady. What started as pity became partnership, fear transformed into fierce loyalty. Their story, shared online, touched thousands, proof that one quiet act of courage can echo louder than a room full of silence. Because sometimes all it takes is one person willing to raise their hand when no one else will, to turn despair into dignity and loneliness into love. The legacy of that day wasn't just a saved dog, but a reminder to us all that compassion is the most powerful bid we can ever place in this life. Every step the dog took without pain was a testament to the stranger's choice. Every bark of joy was a thank you spoken in a language everyone could understand. And so the story ends not with a gavel, but with a heartbeat synchronized between human and animal, proving that no life is ever truly broken beyond repair if someone is willing to care.